Imagine being the first to discover the next big consumer craze in your industry. That one feature every business owner frowns at today, but won't be able to live without tomorrow. Can you grasp the scope of opportunities opening up? Effective marketing trend analysis can pave the way. A very pleasant evening to one and all. In today's world, where technology is evolving at a breakneck pace, it has become crucial to stay updated with the current job market trends. DataVoid, in collaboration with FOSSVJCET, is here with yet another event, Industry Insights, which aims to provide you with an insight into the current job market scenario and equip you with the necessary skills to succeed in your career. I heartily welcome Mr. Nishanth Muralidhar, currently working at a niche specialized product company with over 18 years of experience to share his knowledge about the current job market trends. I would also like to welcome all the participants to the event. You will have the opportunity to interact and clarify your doubts. Finally, I wish you all a fruitful and much enjoyable experience. Let us together explore the current job market and pave the way for a successful career.
Thank you, Marin. Sir, Tarangat, can start.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Good evening. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay, great. So before we start, I would like to make one thing clear. This session is meant for you folks, right? It's not meant for me to come and talk here and share my knowledge and everything, which I'll do, of course. But this session will only work and will be fruitful for you if you ask your questions. And please feel free to ask any questions, any doubts that you may have, right? No questions are too small, no questions are stupid. This is about you, this is about your future, this is about your future careers as well. So please do feel free to ask any sort of questions that you may have, right? I don't have any issue in answering any questions, but if there are no questions asked, there's no point in us having this session, right? This is meant for you, so make the best use of it. Okay. So with that, we can start. I'll just have a quick intro about myself. My name is Nishant. I have over 18 years of experience in the IT industry. I've lived and worked in over 4 countries in the IT industry, and I've worked across different clients, different geographies, different customers, and in different domains within the IT industry itself. So I would say that I'm pretty much qualified to answer any questions that you may have regarding this current job market and whatever your opportunities that you may particularly be interested in. Okay. So with that, let me just have a quick discussion about what the current job market is, what you can expect to see maybe 5 to 10 years down the line, and then with that we can get started with the questions. In the meantime, if you feel, I mean, you want to ask something, you want to interrupt me, please go ahead. All right, no issues at all. Okay. So I'm assuming a lot of you are around third years and fourth years at the Vishwa Jyoti College of Engineering. So I'm understandable that it's you will be anxious about what sort of jobs you will get into, what how you can work about it and everything. See, the IT industry is a big one, right? And India is one of the biggest talent pools out there. And the good thing about working in India is that it prepares you for a lot of variety of jobs. Okay, with COVID, a thing of the past. One thing that has opened up is that there's opportunities all around the globe. So even if you sit in India and you're good
Sir,
enough, you will find a lot of jobs. Sorry.
so can you turn on the video?
Yes. Sure, no problem. Sorry. Let me see this one. Let me know if you can see me. Am I visible?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Am I visible?
So you're not visible.
Okay. Try that now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm just trying to do that. For some reason, it's not switching on for me. Can you do that for me? Can you switch on my video or?
No, sir. You have to give
Not able to do.
permission from your side.
Okay, let me just trying that. Now. Can I log back in and try?
Yes, sure, sir.
Okay, hold on. Is it better now?
Yeah, you're visible, sir. Sir, you're
I'm
visible.
visible.
Yeah.
Okay, can I proceed?
Yes, sir. You can. So you can proceed.
Hello, am I audible? Can I?
Yes, sir. You're audible.
I'm audible.
Sir, you're audible. So it appears you have some bandwidth issues. So it'll be better if you turn off the video then.
Is it okay now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, let me try to switch on the video one more time.
No, so it appears you have some bandwidth issues. It will be better. You can just continue.
No
Thank you for
problem.
explaining.
No problem. Okay, so as I was saying, post COVID, there has been a lot of opportunities that has opened up for good talent pools in India. Okay, so basically, what I'm saying is that if you're a good talented person, you'll be able to sit in India and get a job in the United States, or get a job in Europe, or get a job in Canada, or say something like that, right? And it's far more easier even to migrate right now if you wanted to, because there's a lot of openings in Europe, in Canada, in Germany, everywhere for good talented folks. So the job for you guys is to identify a career and to see where you want to land up in 5 to 10 years down the line. Right? If you wish, or if your dream is to immigrate, uh, if your dream is to immigrate to Canada, that's fine. But ensure that you can, get good skill set, get a good resume out there, and then migrate. Right? It's not that you should go immediately abroad and then search for something. Build your career first, build your resume first, build your skill set first, and then go ahead and do it. Right? So now, assuming, right, the IT industry is all about programming. Programming is the chunk of the IT service sector jobs, and there's a whole different layer of jobs out there in programming, right? So, for example, one of the hottest areas right now is mobile development, right? So, if you want to be an iOS developer, if you want to be an Android developer, literally the world is your play basket, right? There are openings for good iOS developers in London. I know people who personally are experienced with 5 6 years of experience. They're really good developers. They've been selected by Facebook, Google, and directly relocated to London to start their careers there, right? So if you are good developers, if you're good mobile app developers, there's huge amount of opportunity. And I also know people who sit in India, have landed US jobs, and are working in India from the comfort of their homes on US level dollar salaries, right? So, but again, those are only for good people who have proved themselves, right? The point I'm trying to make is the opportunities are out there. If you identify what you want from a job, from a career, get that perspective first, work towards it, and then you can easily achieve that, right? Which makes me come to my next point, right? So, from your perspective, it's understandable that you want to get a job, you want to get, salary, you want to spend that money, you want to enjoy life, which is perfectly fine. But you shouldn't just be concentrating on focusing on getting a job itself, right? You shouldn't be focusing on just getting a job in any sort of company out there. No, you got to think strategically. This is your whole life out there, right? Your career will take up a huge chunk of your waking hours. So it's it's way crucial to ensure that you think very very strongly about what you want to be, right? You shouldn't say choose to be a Java developer for 2 years, no, then say that no, I want different job in a different company. So go to mobile app development. So think long and hard. Think long and hard on what do you want to do, especially if you want to be in programming. Say you want to be a mobile app developer, which is fine. You want to work in UI UX design, which stands for user interface or user experience design, which is fine. You want to be a Java developer, that's also fine. You want to work in Angular, Node, React JS, JavaScript, that's also fine, right? Or you want to say go and work for Apple. You want to be an iOS developer, that's also fun. You want to work in mobile QA. QA stands for quality assurance, which is basically testing. That's also fine. You want to be a business analyst, that's fine. But think about your career, your job, your life from 5 to 10 years from now, and think strategically from that perspective. Understand what is that you want. Network with industry experts. Ask questions to people. Think what is best for you down the line, and then go. Just don't search for jobs with the highest expected salaries, right? It doesn't work out that way. You probably might hate it down the line, or you might not be a good fit. So the thing to do is that salaries are important. Don't think that I'm saying that salaries are not important. Salaries are a very important part of your career. So go for good salaries, go for high expected salaries, but make sure that that is something that will be a career for you and not just a job, right? So you'll have to do your own research. You'll have to talk to people. You can talk to people like me. I'm always happy to help out. Do your research, do your own thing, find out what is there for you, and then go for it, right? The good thing about this current age and time that we live in is that everything is available on the internet, right? If you have the willingness to put in the work and the research, uh, you can do it on your own. You can find out things on your own, right? With that said, I just would like to ask a question. Has anybody here heard of the company named Pesto? PSTO? Anybody? I'll just put that in the chat. Has anybody ever heard of this company? Okay. I'm guessing that's no. All right. So if anybody recalls the point that I made earlier, right? You can sit in India and work for US companies at US level salaries, right? It's great work actually. And Pesto is a company which finds good talent from India and then connects them with startups, with established companies in the US, in Europe, in Canada, and then they basically work as intermediary and connects the recruiters and the candidates with each other, and they sell the qualified candidates to recruiters, and they ensure that both people are satisfied. So that's something that that's popped up recently. Maybe it's been there like the past 2 3 years, and the whole remote working scenario post COVID gave a huge boost to these sort of companies, right? So you guys are like really lucky that all these sorts of opportunities are coming up right now. When I started my job and my career, I couldn't even imagine that we could work remotely in such a fashion, and all this sort of things was possible. So with all that coming in, right, I'm hoping that you at least some of you guys are up to date on industry trends like ChatGPT, right? ChatGPT is something that it's a phenomenal revolution, right? It's going to change the way that you know we are going to live and do our daily routines down the line. It might not be now, it might be 5 to 10 years down the line, right? I'm also hoping some of you might have heard of crypto. So those two areas, crypto and artificial intelligence, are something that you can really look at. There are lots of languages in crypto, say like Solidity or the Ethereum blockchain, that you can learn. You can take courses in that. You can boost your skills, and you can earn like really really good US level salaries sitting here in India. Or you can study what AI is. You can do the hard work to become an AI engineer, and then you can just position yourself for boom down the line, because those two areas are like going to be really, really huge down the line. It might not be there right now, just right yet. But if you position yourself strategically 5 to 10 years down the line, those are two of the biggest areas that I can see that are going to be huge. So if I were you, I would personally look at three things, right? One is crypto, the other is AI, and the other is mobile app development, right? As you know, we all use smartphones these days, and that usage is not going to go down; it's going to go up dramatically high. So if you're a really good mobile engineer, you can write your own ticket. You can make your own life in any country out in this world, right? So those three areas I would particularly recommend. But whatever you take, if not these three, I would suggest that you put in really, really strong effort, hard work to achieve whatever you want. Just do the thinking. Just prepare yourself strategically. Just don't look at the next month or next year. Look at 5 to 10 years down the line, and then I'm sure that you'll be a success in whatever you want to do. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say, and I would really, really like to hear questions from you, which I can delve into it more depth and give more specific answers to whatever your questions may be. I would love to hear from you. Go ahead, please.
ആർക്കെങ്കിലും എന്തെങ്കിലും ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസോ ഡൗട്ട് ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഇപ്പൊ ചോദിക്കാം കേട്ടോ.
Please feel free. Okay, this is your job. This is your future here. So please feel free to ask any sort of questions that you may have. Anything? Anybody has any questions? Please go ahead and ask. There's no small question. There's no stupid questions. Please go ahead. Jake, I don't. Sorry, Jace, I don't hear any questions.
Let's see. Someone,
Sorry.
ഗൈസ് ഒരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസും ഇല്ലേ? നല്ലൊരു ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റിയാണ്. നമുക്കൊരു വലിയ എക്സ്പേർട്ടാണ് ഇവിടെ വന്നിരിക്കുന്നത്. നമുക്ക് എന്ത് ഉണ്ടെങ്കിലും ചോദിക്കാം. ജസ്റ്റ് എന്തെങ്കിലും ബേസ്
Just please feel
ചെയ്യാൻ
free. Okay, don't feel shy. Don't feel shy. Don't feel shy at all, and don't think that any of your questions will be stupid. Also, right? There are no stupid questions. You guys are here to learn. You guys are here to understand. Please feel free to ask any sort of questions. I really hope that you have your job stuff sorted out, because this sort of shyness won't help you when you're working in a job. Please, so understand that. Okay. I see a question from Aditya KG. Will AI replace most of the jobs? Good question, Aditya. Thank you for asking that. That's a good question actually. So I'll just give you a brief background. So whenever a new technology has come in, right? Be that the railway engine, be that the internet, be that say even air conditioning or whatever. Uh, People have always doubted that it would that new technology would take away their jobs and everything. I don't know if any of you folks remember the very first time that Uber and Ola came to India. There were a lot of strikes from taxi drivers unions and problems because of that. They said they won't allow Uber to take over their jobs and all that, blah 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 and everything. There was huge protests and everything like that. Now what happened? Uber and Ola are like spread across all the cities in India. We use Uber and Ola wherever you want to go, wherever you want to travel, and even the taxi drivers have come up with an app themselves. So basically, what it means is that they have adapted to the situation. They have adapted to the fact that there is new competition, that they'll have to face it and move forward from there, right? So it's the same thing with AI, right? AI will definitely replace jobs. Yes, there'll be no doubt about it. But what it will do is, like any other technology, it will free up humans from low end jobs, from jobs that take too much manual labor and time, and increase humans productivity by freeing up their time for higher value tasks, right? So these days robots do surgery, right? That means that robots do low level surgery, which frees up the surgeon's time for doing more complex, more harder surgeries, which is a win-win for both humanity and the doctor themselves, because the robot does their job perfectly, the patient goes home, and the doctor's valuable time and energy is saved up for uh, the more complex surgeries as well. Okay. Now, coming to AI and software engineering, right? If you're a software engineer whose skills are good, no matter the technology that comes in, AI or whatever it may be, you will always find a way to adapt and go and better do a better job, do a better higher value job of whatever you want to do. Correct. But lower end jobs, definitely AI will take away, right? So the answer to that is always you have to keep up on upskilling, right? You can't, especially in a field such as dynamic as software engineering, you can't just sit back and relax. It's not a government job that you can do it, right? If you want to go into an IT job, always be prepared for the fact that you will have to continuously reskill yourself every 2 to 3 years. There's no escaping the fact. That is part of the reason why IT is paid so highly, right? There's absolutely no job security there. despite whatever you may hear, there's absolutely no job security in any company. Any IT company will fire you or can fire you whenever they want to, no matter whether you work for them for 2 months or 20 years, it doesn't matter. Your only job security lies in your intelligence and your skills. And as long as you have skills that are wanted by the market, no AI tool will replace you. So the best way to ensure job security and a good job for yourself is always keep updated. Make yourself that you're valuable, that any company would want you. I know it's a tough task, but that's the reality. Okay. I hope I was able to make myself clear. Any more questions around that? Happy to answer. Are there any specific industries that has great growth or decline in terms of job? Good question. That's a very good question, actually. So I think if you're looking at decline in terms of jobs, I would say, let's say, again, lower end jobs, right? Say people who are stenographers or typists, things like that. You don't really need anybody to do that. People who are office assistants, people who are travel agents, those sort of things. I mean, I was able to make ChatGPT print out a very customized travel itinerary for myself. 2 weeks ago. So with open API integrations which will connect to the airlines, book tickets for me, book hotel reservations for me. A lot of travel agents' jobs are going to go away, right? There'll be few who will still survive because of their connections and because of the inherent value that they provide. But travel agencies are definitely on their way out. So that's something that goes out. Uh, in terms of people who will see growth, that will definitely be the medical industry, right? The medical industry will never go down because humans will need healthcare, and that's something that they'll always see uh, an increase in value people, right? The IT industry also, again, right? You might not need so many software developers or coders because AI will definitely do a good job of programming. So, but you will always need good people, right? So the your ultimate challenge is to be good in yourself, and you will have that job security. So IT industry definitely, I see it's really good, at least for the next 10 to 20 years. That's for sure. Yeah. Those are good questions. Keep it to me. Which skills can education like decrease? Okay, which has more prominence? Good question, Agat. I'm happy to see such questions. These are very, very valid, well thought out questions. Education, right? Education is just a foothold, right? I'll tell you something that in the IT industry, at least, right? It doesn't matter where you study from, as long as you seek intelligence and as long as you have uh, you are able to understand and communicate well. It really doesn't matter where you study from. Right? I'll give you an example. I studied from one of the colleges in Kerala, and I had at least two what do you call it, supplementary exams. Right? I mean, I failed in a couple of my exams, semester exams. One of them was engineering graphics, I think. Right? And I wrote that exam 3 times, and I passed out only in my fourth year. Right? So but it didn't matter. I got a placement, and then I moved on from there. So it's just until you get your first job, right? Of course, I'm not saying that education doesn't matter or marks doesn't matter, but I'm saying that it really doesn't matter in the long run, right? It matters what sort of skill set you have. As long as you're good at what you do, right? Companies will come to you. The money will come to you as long as you're good at what you do, right? If you're a really good iOS developer, believe me, you can make the most money in this market that I've ever seen. And I know folks, who have failed multiple times or who are MCAs or who have BComs or BScs, just basic degrees, but they really went into a hot job market with a hot skill set, and they're making money much more than engineers or anything like that. So this education, if you're going into the IT industry, it's just a filter until you get a first job. From then on, what you learn in your job, how you network, how you work with people, all that makes matter. So the answer to that question will be your skill set matters ultimately. Education is just an HR filter. Don't even worry about that. Just ensure that you pass out, you get your degree. That's it. From there from there on, it's just your skills that matters. Good. Go on. I think I already answered that, but again, I'll repeat that for your benefit, right? So crypto is a great field to be in, right? I mean, I'm not talking about making money by investing in crypto or anything like that, but crypto as a technology in itself, right? It's a great thing, correct? There'll be a huge demand for crypto skilled engineers down the line. Maybe if not immediately, maybe 5 years down the line, right? So that's why I said there are good programming languages in crypto, say like Solidity, which you can learn, and there are lots of white papers out there. So the good thing about that is that every sort of learning material to crypto is out there, available freely on the internet. You just need time to look at it and understand, read it, and research on it. Correct? Crypto is one thing. AI is another one, right? AI is going to be huge down the line. Machine learning. If you are a good, skilled machine learning expert, that's also a very good line. Mobile app development. That is very good. JavaScript. JavaScript is I mean, going to be useful. So those are four areas that I would really look at. Pick one and then go for it. Also, data science analysis. That's also a good one. What about job transitions and switching industries? How to proceed for a job in that case? Switching industry, I'm just assuming that we are talking about IT industry alone. So if you have a good skill set, you should be able to switch jobs within IT easily, right? Same. So the IT industry caters to different industries as well, right? There's IT operations for oil and gas, there is IT operations for FMCG, there is IT operations for pharmaceuticals, there is IT operations for manufacturing, things like that. So all of these folks need IT jobs, right? So if you're a good iOS developer, all you need to know is that you need to create a mobile app development, right? So if you're an iOS developer who is skilled at creating iOS apps, should be able to switch easily between FMCG or pharma or things like that, right? Um, so switching jobs within the IT industry itself is okay. Now, if you want to switch out of IT industry entirely, it's better to do so within the first 5 years of your career, right? In the first 5 years, you're still learning, you're still understanding stuff like that. So if you want to switch, maybe you take an MBA or some other degree and move within the first 5 years of your career. If you think IT is not for you, do it within the first 5 years, or it'll be much more harder. You can still do it, but it'll be much more harder. Okay, next question. What role do you see emerging technology playing in the future of work, and how can? Okay, good question. I think I partially answered that, but again, going. So AI and automation will play a huge future in work, right? So basically, a lot of the lower end tasks, like say like office administrative work, planning meetings, replying to emails, a lot of the things that take away a lot of our mental bandwidth and energy will be automated by AI, right? So I can train an AI agent and then make it my own personal agent and tell that, hey, I have to schedule this meeting at 12 o'clock. Make sure that send out the invites. A lot of those things that we used to do manually will be taken care of by AI. Again, human interaction, correct? At the moment, AI cannot replace a human in emotions, right? Because a lot of the work that we do depends on people, correct? The IT industry is just meant to help people and businesses
Yes, sir. Yeah. Hello, sir. You seem to have turned off your mic.
sorry, am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Sorry. So as I was saying, right, human empathy, emotions, and connections form a great role in work, and that's something that AI cannot easily replace. Okay, so that's how you can stay informed and adaptable in these sort of things, right? Now I see a question from Arshad Roshan: how to jump out to Web3 development. Good. Web3 development, as I said, there are lots of languages that you can learn. Right? There is Solidity. Basically, you will see Solidity is a good language because it's the language of the one of the fundamental building blocks of Web3, which is Ethereum. Solidity is a good place to for you to start, or even Rust. Rust is also a good place for you to start. You can take a look at that website that I mentioned earlier, right? Will list out Web3 developers which are needed. You can take a look at those roles. You can understand what sort of skill set is required, and all of this is free on the web. Every single thing that you need to learn on Web3 development is free on the web. Just do your own research, pick one language, start learning it. Okay. Or if you don't want to do that and you want to keep a foot in both boats, learn JavaScript. JavaScript is a very, very flexible language. And once you have the understanding and basics of JavaScript down, you can move on to Web3 development if that is your wish. Next question. Are there any notable shifts in the hiring process and recruitment strategy that employed by companies? So that mass recruiting, right? There was a huge, huge boost in demand in 2020 and 2021. That sort of hiring is over for the time being, at least, right? People are not going to be uh, pushing for that many freshers anymore, right? Because the demand is down for the next few years at least. I'm not saying that the jobs will go away completely, but it'll be far more selective. So you'll have to be, again, as you said, it'll be far more selective. As in, the good people will get through. Good people will always get the good jobs, as you know, right? There won't be any slowdown in hiring for good people. So the only option here is make yourself good. Uh, just don't study. I mean, just don't study what is given in your college alone, because that's not going to help you work out, right? Has anybody heard of Lead Code? Let's put in that in the chat. So Lead Code is a website where you can, practice programming on your own, any sort of language that will help you. So okay, good. I see a couple of people have heard of it. Good. So ensure that you work on Lead Code problems daily. That will help you to crack the interviews at any sort of company, whether that be Google, Microsoft, your local IT services companies, wherever that may be. That will help you in any programming job that you want to land to. And ensure that you just don't study what is given in college alone, but you need to study, pick a language, be very good at it, and you will ensure that no matter what, you will land a job. Okay. Next question. It's a good question, actually. When you apply for a job, the first thing is that proofread your resume. I hope people know what means by proofreading, correct? And make ensure that your resume is not long, or it doesn't contain hobbies or anything like that. Nobody's interested to learn your hobbies or what you did in 10th, or if you got an extracurricular award or whatever it is. Keep it very simple, right? People don't have time to go through each and every resume and understand whatever is done. So whatever you do is just give your name, your contact information, and whatever you're good at, right? That is what is needed. Nobody needs to know that you're good at English, you can speak 5 languages, your hobbies are playing cricket, whatever it may be. Those are all school level stuff, right? That's not what you do when you go for a professional stuff. So when we're speaking about AI, right? There are a lot of AI tools out there which will read your resume, correct it, and send it in a professional look, right? Let me just give you one right now. Let me just put that one right now. Okay, how strong is the resume?
I am mic is off.
Am I audible?
Sorry, you're audible.
Okay, great. Yeah. So as I was saying, just keep a professional look on your resume. Uh, Remove all non-essential information. Keep your resume proofread, and wherever possible, get a referral. If you're applying for a company, make sure that you have a LinkedIn profile and search for that company, understand what the company does, ensure that you can speak a few words about that company in the job, and see if you have a common friend or a friend of a friend in that company. If somebody refers you, a current employee or the company refers you, nothing like it. Employer referral is one of the strongest way to ensure that you get in front of the interviewer, right? Because if a resume comes to me from a person that I know who's currently working at my company, that is a double boost in itself, right? So that sort of networking you should look. So other than that, ensure that you know a few things about the company. You read about the website. You understand who the CEO and the top senior leaders are, and just be able to answer those questions and ask questions about the company in the interview. Right? Show them that you're interested about the company. Show that ask questions about the job, what sort of job you will be doing it. How does your daily routine look like? What sort of team you will go into? Things like that. Okay. Next question. That's actually very important. You have to keep on learning in the IT industry. You can't just sit back and relax. Again, that's not so sort of industry this is meant for, right? So that's part of the reason why you're paid so highly. That there'll be a lot of job stress. There'll be a lot of demands on you. It won't be easy at all in this sort of industry. So if that's something that you don't think yet you are willing to do or you'll be able to do, it'll be better to search for other kinds of jobs and say a government sector job or even maybe a banking job or anything like that, right? But the IT industry demands continuous skilling, learning, relearning, and unless you upskill and you know, keep on upgrading yourself, you'll be pretty soon relevant in the job market. That's very important. Make sure that you understand these sort of things before you start in the IT industry. Any further questions? Any further questions? Strategy for job search. First of all, forget Indeed.com, forget Nowpray, forget Monster. Those are all generic websites. One of the effective ways to job search is again LinkedIn. Right. I hope all of you have started creating a LinkedIn profile, and please take LinkedIn very very seriously. Right. I mean, it's the best way to market yourself professionally. Create a clean LinkedIn resume. Again, there are AI tools that will help you create a clean LinkedIn resume, tailor your resume accordingly, and showcase your best profile to the world. Okay, so LinkedIn, just search for jobs on LinkedIn. You can see the companies that are advertising. You can see who's advertising. You can see common connections between the job interviewer, between the hiring manager and you. So that will help you, get referrals and connections. So that's one thing that you can do. And I'm assuming since you guys are in college, the placement cell is very active, right? There'll be people who your seniors who have passed out of this college and are placed in companies like Infosys, TCS. So they'll be able to bring those companies to your campus and get it done. So to the two things that I think are most effective in job searches: LinkedIn. First, search through LinkedIn, and second one is search through your friends, your seniors, people who are passed out. So make best use of the placement cell at your college, and people and network with their seniors also. Right, they'll be working in all sorts of companies now. Ensure that either ensure they bring their companies to the campus, or they tell you about jobs. form a alumni group, right? There'll be alumni groups who will post jobs needed and stuff like that. So, and they will also tell who's hiring freshers. This is especially important in this uncertain time. So your seniors are the one of the best resources that you can make use of, especially in college, right? After you pass out, then it's more like LinkedIn and job portals. And guys, I'm not hearing any questions. I'm seeing the questions in this. All I again, one more point that I want to make is that communication is very important. Okay, when you work in a job, you'll have to communicate with a lot of people. So there's no use in being shy and withdrawn or introverted. I mean, I don't know how you guys are in real life, so I have no clue. But what I'm saying is that communication is a very important part, and don't ever feel stupid for asking questions. Right? You guys are young. You guys are just starting out, so there's no sense in feeling shy or no problem in asking stupid questions. You're only stupid if you don't ask a question, make a mistake. Correct? So if you're here to learn, make sure that you communicate well, communicate effectively, ask questions if you're doubt. What is the best language to start on AI? Right. There are a lot of languages that you can start. So you're talking about development itself, or is there a specific ask that you want? So for now, I think for what you can start with AI is Python. Python is a good way to start on AI. So if you learn Python, it'll be helpful in a lot of things, right? It'll be helpful in data analysis. It'll be helpful in machine learning. It'll be helpful in AI also. So Python is a good way to start off with. Your favorite as well as your least tech product. That's a very good question. I would say that very interesting question. Thank you for that. Yeah, my favorite tech product would be my iPhone. Right. It's now I've been using an iPhone for since 2007, so that's what 16 years now, and it's my favorite product. I mean, I can't imagine using an Android phone ever again. And it's not that I'm a heavy iOS user. Also, I just use this for WhatsApp, chatting, and just basic normal stuff. But even then, I can't imagine using an Android phone. That's because all the Apple's products are like really well designed. Apple is not a technology company. Apple is a user design company. They always think of the user and make the user's life very comfortable and friction free. So that's why it's so massively popular, right? I mean, people who have used Android and then gone on to iOS will know what I'm talking about. It's far more easier, at least for me. So that's my most favorite product, and my least would be my company provider laptop. That's an HP one. That's absolutely useless. But since it's provided by my company, I have to use it. That's good question. Who are you? Are regional factors? I'm sorry. Can you elaborate on the question? I didn't understand. What does regional factors mean? Are you talking about your home state? Hello? Can you hear me? What does regional factors here indicate? Like online and offline work. Are you asking about remote work and working in office? Is that what you're saying?
And also, with respect to a country, some jobs are really specific to a particular country, and how does that affect our job placement? Like you are from India, so how is
Okay.
the current job placement for India?
Okay. See, as I said, it's not going to be like 2020 or 21 where anybody could get hired because companies are hiring like crazy. Now that has gone down. There are a lot of layoffs happening across the globe, right? In India also there are a lot of layoffs happening. So you won't see that crazy job market happening anytime soon. I have not seen that job market ever in my life in working in this industry. And I think that's a very, very rare phenomenon. Okay, so don't count on anything like that happening soon. But being said, if you're good enough, you will definitely get an entry level job, right? It's not still not that hard to get it in India because we still have a lot of requirements. There's still a lot of jobs. The only problem is the only thing that you have to do is you have to upskill yourself and make sure that you're uh, good enough to get hired, right? But again, you guys are really lucky in the fact that it's not just within. You can sit in India and work for companies across the globe. Hard work to get land such a job, but you guys are really lucky that these sort of openings, these sort of opportunities happening right now. I've never seen this before in my life, right? I I couldn't even imagine such a scenario when I started working. So that way you guys are really lucky. So make the best use of it. Okay. So don't worry about recession and layoffs or anything like that. Be good at whatever you do. Do a lot of hard work in your job search. I'm sure you'll land some. Forget COVID, right? COVID is actually was actually very, very beneficial for the IT job industry. It opened the possibilities of remote work, working for other countries, working in India for other companies across the globe. Work from home. All the sort of things was good enough for the IT market. So I shouldn't really say this, but COVID proved to be a blessing in disguise for the IT industry. Although it was a global pandemic and cost a lot of lives. Most challenging technical project you have been part of? Okay, I've been part of a lot of tough projects, but the toughest one was for when I worked in the US for a company called Walmart. I don't know if you've heard of it. There's Walmart in India right now. It was tough not because of the technology in itself. It's because of the users. So that's something that you will see in IT. That the technology will be easier. It'll be the working with the people that will hard off. You'll find really hard. Walmart, in the case of Walmart, its business users were like really, really tough, really hard to please people, and it's just frankly a nightmare to work with them. But somehow we got it accomplished. So I would say that is my most challenging experience so far. Okay, good question. Top qualities, right? The first one is your attitude, right? See, you can be a mediocre programmer, you can be a great programmer, you can be an average programmer, you can be a really bad programmer, or whatever it is. The first thing is your attitude, your willingness to learn, right? You guys won't know Python, or you guys might not know C++. You guys might suck at knowing programming, right? All that doesn't matter, but what matters is your attitude and your willingness to learn. If you're willing to learn, if you're willing to show up every day, if you're wanting to work hard, if you demonstrate that you're willing to do whatever it takes, definitely that is one of the top qualities that any recruiter will look at. Correct. See, there are very few things in this world that we can't learn, right? Especially in the IT industry. None of this is rocket science, right? Learning Python, learning C++, learning Java, whatever it may be, right? There are tutorials, there are Udemy courses, there are YouTube courses, there is lead code. There are hundreds of things that we can use to learn, correct? Learning is not a big deal, but the willingness, the attitude, the hunger and the hard work that you are willing to put in, that is what will attract any recruiter, right? Nobody wants somebody who's unwilling and lazy and not wanting to put in the work. That's not what any recruiter will want. So any recruiter will want somebody who's not afraid to put in the hard work, and somebody who's willing to upskill and reskill themselves, right? So that's the first thing that you have to demonstrate. You have to demonstrate you're enthusiastic for the job, you're willing to do whatever it takes, right? That is the first thing that any recruiter will want. Hungry candidate. Or technology skills up to date, is it? So in terms of programming, lead code would be a good way to do it, right? But there are other things also. YouTube tutorials are there. There is a site called, let's say, free code. Hold on, freecode.org. So this company is called Free Code Camp. So Free Code Camp is a good way to keep your technology skills. They offer lots of learning tutorials across all languages, right? So if you identify an emerging trend, say like crypto or AI or anything, you can search by subsector and then do your program on it. It allows you to learn at your own pace, right? Or there's Udemy. I'm sure you guys have heard of Udemy. There's a lot of tutorials and things out there that you can use. But Free Code Camp is very easy to use, clean, simple interface that I found personally useful. That's pretty good if you want to learn on your own, right? Uh, that's or whatever company, if it's a decent company, they will offer you learning curriculum of your own, right? But if that doesn't happen, Free Code Camp is good enough. Job roles, right? Programming, programming is there. Programming is the biggest thing that you can do, or you can work as a business analyst, right? A business analyst was a person who works as a bridge between the business users who will actually use the software and the team that builds the software. Right now, if you ask me, will AI take away those jobs? Definitely. If you're poor at your job, AI will definitely take away your job. Right, but if you're a good programmer or a good business analyst, you won't be replaced. So that's where your own upskilling comes in. That's a good question. So one of the ways is that they identify resume filters, right? So whenever they put out an opening, right? A lot of candidates say they put out a resume for data analytics developer. Maybe they get 150 resumes. So there will be an automated filter, which is which is built using data analytics or whatever it may be, to search, to automatically run through the scan those resumes, identify the keywords that the job recruiter is looking for, and then ensure that only those resumes which meet the job requirements are selected. So that's the first round of filtering. But with ChatGPT, candidates are proving even smarter, right? So what they do is they use ChatGPT to find the right sort of job openings, tailor their resumes to meet those requirements, and then ensure that that is done. So candidates are even proving smarter than the recruiters. I don't think that the recruiters have put in systems just yet to beat ChatGPT, because that is just a recent technology, right? So right now candidates have the upper hand in that. Internships are good, right? Internships are good at right companies. Internships are good enough. See, college degree is nothing, right? It's just a formal certification that hey, this guy has done this course and has somehow secured enough marks. That's what I'm saying. Unless you're from IIT Bombay or IIT Delhi, it really doesn't matter. The college education is just a college education, right? I know you have heard differently. The best candidates just get placed from the best colleges, but let me tell you, really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, because I know people who are passed out from mediocre colleges, and I'll tell you, there is some colleges in Tamil Nadu that nobody has ever heard of. And a couple of guys from there are placed at Flipkart right now, and one of them is earning 97 lakhs per annum. The other guy is earning 82 lakhs per annum. Okay, they were absolutely obscure colleges, absolutely obscure guys. Nobody thought that they would make it, but they proved good enough in their jobs that they could land these jobs, right? That's something, and they didn't do any placement talks, tax conferences, internship, nothing at all, right? They just passed out from these colleges with mediocre degrees, and then they proved really good in their jobs. So what I'm saying is that a college degree is just a stepping stone. It's just a formal certification from some authority saying that, hey, this guy just passed this course, right? It tells nothing about your skill sets or how good you are at programming, nothing, anything like that. So just get that college degree, ensure that you have good skills, and then move forward from there, right? But yes, doing an internship is a good thing, provided you do it at a good company. Then you learn at least something to start with. By the time you get a job, when you're advanced enough to take, not really, not really, not really. See, there are companies who still. I don't know if anybody has ever heard of mainframe, thing like that. But there are companies. There are really old technologies. There are people who still big banks still who use mainframe. And mainframe was a technology whose best time was around 30 years ago. So AI doesn't move that fast enough. But I'm pretty sure by the guys that you guys pass out and get jobs, you'll still be safe and secure. Don't worry about it. I don't see AI as a master threat until at least 5 to 10 years down the line. What about startups? Sorry, what exactly about startups? Are they going to? What is the question here? Sorry, I didn't understand the question. Good question. How to set up? See, starting a startup is nothing, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys know about it. Becoming successful, that's a very tough question. Okay, now let me answer that. Uh, I'm pretty sure you might not have heard of this statistic, but uh, see, a startup is something very glamorous these days, right? You all hear about the people who worked at startups, who founded startups, and went on to become millionaires and billionaires. But the hard fact of the matter is that 90% of startups who people start fail. Okay, over 90% fail, and we hear only about the 10% which are like really successful. Nobody ever talks about the persons who fail, because there's no media value in that. The media and the newspapers cover only the glamour values and the success, the successful folks, which is because what they sells their papers actually. But uh, over 90% fail. So that's the hard fact, right? It's really hard to start a successful business, especially in India. It's very hard. I'm not trying to discourage anybody, but know this, that it will be very hard, and it will be at least 3 to 4 years before you even start earning a single rupee in revenue. And uh, by that time you will see your peers working in jobs, getting established and successful, right? But also, it's also true that if you want to start a startup, the best time is right now, right? You have access to everything that you would ever want to know from the internet, from people. There are a lot of talented people. You can hire people for next to nothing in India. And even if you start a startup after passing out from college and fail, in the worst case, I'm saying in the worst case you fail, it doesn't matter. You'll easily land another job. But once you think you will work for 5 6 years and then start a startup, it will be much more harder. So absolutely, by all means, go ahead and start a startup if you're really wanting it. But understand that it will be a very long, hard path with no guarantee of success, and the odds are likely that you will fail. I'm not trying to discourage you here, but I just want you to understand reality before you go ahead. That's it. So those are some of the things that you should be aware of as a startup. Anything else?
Any questions ഉണ്ടോ? Any more questions? ഞാനിപ്പോ എൻഡ് ചെയ്തോ?
With this, we have reached the end of today's session. I would like to take this opportunity to express my sincere gratitude to Mr. Nishanth Muralidhar for spending his valuable time for providing us with the insights that we required. I would also like to extend my gratitude to DataVoid Community for hosting the event in collaboration with FOSSVJCET. Last but not the least, I also extend my gratitude to all the participants who have taken the time to be a part of this event. Your presence here today demonstrates your commitment to learning and growing in your career. Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay.
folks.
Thanks. Thank you, sir. Okay, so your certificates will be provided via email. You can also download it through our site. It will be made available to you within 1 or 2 weeks. And please ensure that our email is whitelisted so that you may receive relevant updates.